Hello everyone, Kent Bressler here. I want to welcome you to Kent's Kidney Stories. During our time together over these podcasts, I'd like to discuss kidney disease. I'd like to tell you about my journey as a transplant patient, but also talk about dialysis, kidney donation, and just about anything else that might be of interest. Kent's Kidney Stories, a podcast endorsed and sponsored by kidneysolutions.org. Hello, Kent Bressler here, and we're going to do a little podcasting. And you now know the drill if you've been paying any attention to the podcast, which I know you have. Let's pray. Lord God, you are my strength. Hold my hand in my weakness and teach my heart to fly. With you, there's nothing to fear, nothing to worry about. Hold me tight in your embrace so that I can be stronger than the challenges in my life. Amen. You know, every once in a while you run into somebody who has what I think is pedigree, or, it's just really a fun person to be around. And I'm just developing a new relationship with this gentleman that's going to be our guest now here in a few minutes, about where he's coming from, because he's on his kidney journey that he's going to tell you about. And I also know that he's had a successful career in the ministry and in general in the public. So when you listen to him, bear in mind that his needs are for a donor. He's not being selfish, but he rather is being honest with himself and with you when it comes to the fact that if he doesn't get a donor, his life will be spent on dialysis for the rest of his life. And he really is searching a donor. He's praying for a donor. And so we want to give him an opportunity to just tell us about himself, and then we'll give you information about how you can donate if you wish. So, Dr. Jonas Gadson, good morning to you, sir. Can I call you Jonas?
Yes, great morning.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. Tell me where you're from. Right now, in your life, where are you?
Right now, I'm living in Beaufort, South Carolina.
Beaufort, South Carolina. All right. Is that on the coast or in the middle of the state?
Yes, pretty much on the coast. It's near down to Georgia, near to the Atlantic Ocean. I often say it's not the end of the world, but it's almost the end of the world where I live.
Okay.
we call it the Low Country.
The Low Country. Okay. Listen, how long have you been battling kidney disease? Tell us a little bit about your story.
Yes, I've been battling kidney disease now for the last 5 years. I've been on dialysis for the last 5 years. What happened briefly when I was 4 years old, I had a tumor in my stomach, and it was protruding as if I was 9 months pregnant. And they didn't know what was wrong. Finally, my mother rushed me to Charleston Hospital in Roebuck, in Charleston, South Carolina, and they did an operation on me to take the tumor out. But they also told my mother then that the chances for me to live was very slim, because they had just performed the same operation on 8 other babies, and they all 8 of them died. And
Oh
so
my.
so they told my mother I was going to be number 9. So they went in to take the tumor out of my stomach as 4 years old. And what I didn't know, they had a massive infection of the operation. Now, remember, they weren't expecting me to live anyway, and 8 other baby was proof that died that had the same operation. So when they went back into my right side to clean up the infection, uh, they recognized that the infection had spread on the kidney on the right side. So they
Okay.
took the kidney out.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And,
Did
and,
that
and
correct.
then, yes,
Okay.
yeah. So they took the kidney out and then sewed me back up. And of course, weren't expecting me to live. But then 50 years later, even though I had some of the best doctors, I didn't know until recently that I only had one kidney that actually was took out when I had the operation. And then I found out that that kidney then was only functioning 5 to 11%. So that's caused me to go on dialysis.
Right. That's where you're at right now. That
Yes.
that necessitates a need for a kidney. So a kidney donor, and that's what we're working on. You've had a really interesting life. Not to think that it's at the end, but just to say that you've done a lot of things. I don't even want to read all of the stuff out loud, but just kind of give us a general background of what you've done other than the ministry, before the
Well,
ministry.
yeah. Well, I've been in corporate America for 30 years. I worked for Eastman Kodak, a company, and Xerox. I actually retired early in 2005 to move back home to take care of my elderly mother. That's what I did. But in corporate America, I was a trainer, so I trained over 8,000 employees from 69 different country and got the Trainer Year Award. I'm a DTM in Toastmasters, which is a public speaking thing and working and helping and teaching people. I've been accurate and active in the church for over 47 years. I'm doing a ministry work, a mission work now in Beaufort, South Carolina. I always worked a full-time job and never been on the church payroll. So all of the people I've touched, millions of people in the last 47 years in preaching and teaching, active in the schools. I did a lot of training for teenagers and youth all over the country. I always boast that the youth make up 25% of our population, but they're 100% of our future. And I also emphasize the doctor said I was going to die at 4 years old. This a few more weeks. This coming Sunday, of the Lord's will, I'll be 67 years old. And one of the things I emphasize, my whole life has been a bonus because I'm bragging on God. And the reason why I want a donor, a donor kidney, because I'm not finished yet. I'm in alignment with God's assignment, and I'm an active participant in my own rescue.
There you go. And that's we the gal that was on with us before who has PKD, uh, we mentioned the fact that there's always hope. We talked about hope in almost every one of our podcasts. The thought that anybody, regardless of race, color, creed, whatever, if they've got kidney disease, they got a lot of work to do, and it's hard to do it without being walking with the Lord. So I really respect the fact that you have such a varied background. It's amazing how much background you have. And so you're providing hope for the people that are listening, but also we really need to find you someone that can donate. And we hope we can do that. And that's up to God. He's going to send that person. You're not going to find them. We've talked about that. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes, we talked about it, and in fact, my one of my mantra is that God already have my kidney, is on the way. So I'm just preparing that. But in the meantime, I'm not going to focus on what I have lost. I'm going to focus on what I have left, because what I have left is enough to get the job done. As long as I stay in alignment with God's assignment, everything's going to work out all right.
That's exactly correct. It's a delight. So tell me, how have you been going about looking for a donor? What have you personally? You're your own advocate. That's quite evident, which has to happen. What have
Yes.
you done to try to find someone that would be willing to donate a kidney? What have you done?
Well, well, I've done a lot of things. I've created a website. I've sent out data information to my 6,000 database. I went public because I'm really a private person, and I've helped literally thousands of people because I went public. What I mean, I went public, I'm a public person. I speak to thousands of people, millions of people, because I used to have my own radio program, and it was broadcast on internet and all that. And even recently, I was on a Zoom call with ministers of different parts of the country, and I talked to them about what I need in my broadcast. That way, I create a website where you can go to on YouTube, and it says my minister needs a a kidney, and so I've done that. I'm also an advocate for other people who need kidneys at the center I go to. I advocate for them. I'm on two different uh, uh, place for location for a kidney transplant. But what I found out is that just because you're on a list, you're not on a national list. So I wanted to be on multiple lists. So I started contacting all the states and get on other websites as well. So I'm a strong advocate. I'm working very diligently. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And in fact, I emphasize because I'm a believer that Paul didn't die old; he died finished. Christ didn't die young; he died finished. And I can't die yet because I'm not finished. I want to touch more people's
That's right.
lives. I want to touch more people's lives. And I'm not going to finish until God said, you have fought a good fight, you finished the course, and you kept the faith. So I'm a soldier of the cross. I'm a believer. And in the meantime, I'm touching people's souls all over the country and to help others because in helping others, I'm also helping myself.
That's right. That's right. Let me ask you. You mentioned two hospitals, and I thought I had written them down. What two hospital or transplant programs are you registered at?
One is in Charleston, South Carolina. It's called MEFC. The second one in Augusta, Georgia. I'm on both of those lists, and I'm checked once a year in Charleston, South Carolina, and Augusta twice a year to make sure I'm still a candidate for a kidney transplant. And they did assessment, and they concluded the best thing for me is to get a live donor
Yep.
kidney
Yep.
transplant. It's better for me than on dialysis.
Exactly. Exactly. Now these two hospitals, you're also on the regular the donor list for a deceased kidney. Is that correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay. So
yes.
so good.
As a backup.
All the things too that we need to to tell people is if they go to the website kidneysolutions.org, kidneysolutions.org, what they will see is a very good synopsis of your background, plus the fact what your hospitals are. Every bit of information that you've talked about is on the website, including a phone number that people can get to if they've got questions. So that's kind of a shameful plug, but that's an important plug because that's just another step in your search. So the question now becomes, if you feel compelled, do you know, has anybody actually come in and said, I would like to donate? Are you aware of anybody? Have you contacted the transplant programs and asked them, is there anybody testing for me?
Yes, I had the privilege. We had four individuals that stepped up and volunteered to go through the process. All four of them got to the last stages. And of course, as you well know, they're not going to have a kidney transplant if it raised any question of the safety of the
Oh,
donor or the receiver. And so they didn't pass the test, but they went to the last stages, four different persons,
okay.
females and males, different ethnic group as well, went through it for me.
And that's an important point. We're not talking about ethnicity here or color. We're talking about kidneys. We're not
Yes,
talking about we're talking about kidneys. And
yes,
kidneys don't have color, all right?
yes, that's
So
right.
when kidneys are walking off I always say when they go back to find one on the shelf, they don't know what color the person was who is going to donate that.
That's right.
The point being that it's important also to understand most people don't have so many questions that they scare themselves about donating.
Right.
And you need someone that mentors you that can answer questions, and that's provided. We provide that at Kidney Solutions. If you as a donor would love to donate to Jonas or to anybody, the point is we can answer your questions. Don't listen to people out there that and on the internet. Find somebody, a donor or a mentor who can answer your questions straight up and give you true answers. All right? Because everybody's different. You're different. I'm different. Everybody's going to have a different response. And I go back to the fact that if you don't get somebody today, tomorrow is there. There's hope. And contacting and your transplant team is important because they won't give you names. That's all confidential, but they will tell you, yeah, we've had a couple calls, and it's good for you to know. Give you some hope. Okay. Yes. So don't be afraid to call them and ask.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Beautiful.
All right.
Beautiful.
Now there comes a time when you just have talked about everything that you can think about. Is there anything in your mind that you would like to talk about now as far as a donor? Is there anything that we've missed or we left anything out?
I'd like to just say that I did my homework as well. So I spoke to individuals who donated their kidneys, and they are bragging. And one person, Mr. Brooks, he said, you can use my name because he donated one of his kidney to a very prominent preacher. And he said he wished he had another kidney because he would donate one to me. And the minister who received the kidney is still touching people around the world. And so it's a great thing. I talked to the people who gave one, and I talked to the one who donate one, and they had success stories. And I'm determined with God's help, I'm going to be one of those success stories, and you're going to be one as well.
I think I don't think I know that that's true. Everything that right now is focused on patience, staying in your own lane, and believing through prayer that donor's going to come. And yes. I believe that.
I do too. That's why I'm working like I believe it. Faith without work is dead.
Right. Exactly right.
So I'm working and believing it at the same time.
Well, I'll tell you, you got my heartstrings going. I hope that and pray that people that are listening, we have quite a few listeners, and I'm hoping that people will pass this on. I would encourage you to let your ministerial group know, let all your friends know about this podcast, and ask them to spread it so we can get it out there. Okay?
Yes, I will.
Okay. I thank you for coming on. And I think that in the long run, this is going to be beneficial, but we do know that God's in charge. So I'm going to close off now. If you don't have any more, I wanted to speak to my folks, and then we're going to end the conversation. And I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for having me, and keep up the great work.
I'm going to do it. Okay, folks. We can spend all day talking about kidneys, but we got to make sure that we realize there's an individual person that's looking for the donor. Those individuals have families, and they have a life to live, and they want to live. So give it a chance. Give us a call at Kidney Solutions. Call Jonas. Get a hold of anybody. Go on our website, and this is a way you can donate and get your questions answered. And in the interim, come on back and listen to our podcast. And there's many of them on there. Kent's Kidney Stories. And until the next time, keep breathing.